It's good, Diehard. It's your boy Eru, host of the Dying podcast. Starting a little late today, man. As always, there's always a bug in this thing, man. Mr. State's gonna be running a little bit late, so I'm gonna freestyle a little bit, man. There's a couple things that I wanted to talk to, is kind of lead into what me and State were gonna talk about. Before we get into that, man, how you like the intro? That's gonna be the new intro for the Dying podcast. Every time you see me come on, I'll pop that on, and I got some other things that I'm gonna put on for other shows and stuff like that. But anyway, shout out to Jarrell and Lee Valentin. They was on a little earlier. We did a little off topic podcast. I think we're gonna keep that, but I'm not sure if it's gonna stay football. We might just switch that up as time goes on, man. But as we go along here, I actually want to talk about Tom Thibodeau and the Shaheen Galloway stuff, man. So for those that don't really know too much about Shaheen Holloway, excuse me, he's the head coach for Seton Hall, man, right? Seton Hall head coach. He also used to play for Seton Hall, and also St. Peter's too in New Jersey. And he was also actually born in Queens, right? So there's a whole bunch of things going on with this man. But one thing for sure that he was definitely invited to the Knicks training camp. So let's pull up so just a basic thing. If you're gonna look up a player or look up anybody in this world, everybody goes into Wikipedia because that's like the most like what do you call it accurate place to go, right? So check it out. We got Shaheen Holloway. If you look at the right hand side of the screen, he's 45. So this is my age group. So I remember Shaheen Holloway when he came through. He actually, like I said, he was playing in New Jersey, St. Patrick. St. Patrick was a powerhouse. Danny Hurley, a couple other guys that played for these different places here. But they got a chance to play in the summertime. I saw him a lot. He's my height, 5'10", it's gonna be 173 pounds. At the time when I was his age, like around when we was coming up together, I was about like 145. So he was heavier than me. So I remember I never played against him. I'm not gonna lie and say that I played against him or anything like that. But I was very familiar with him because he definitely came up in my era and stuff like that. He's a little older than me, like 2 years older than me, but I definitely remember Sheen Holloway and stuff like that. I'm not sure if he remembers playing with Xavier Williams and some of those guys from Brooklyn. But this is definitely my age group, so I'm very familiar with Shaheen Holloway. But like I said, 5'10", 178, especially during the era that he was coming up in, it's not really like the best. He's not really the best size to come up with. Usually, point guards at the time were coming up like 6'3", maybe 6'1", 6 foot. But 5'10", once you get into the 5'10" range, it's kind of pushing it. Guys like Muggsy Bogues and some other players. You want to say Michael Adams for those that want to Google those type of players. It is possible to succeed in the NBA playing at that height, but coming to the league, especially not being that crazy in college. Let's pull up his numbers. One thing that sticks out for a guy like Shane Holloway was is always his handle because that was the era. His handle was crazy, and he passed the ball pretty well. So let's take a look at his stats here. See if I can make this a little bigger for you guys. Uh, Pull up his stats. This is his record for here as a coach. Let me see if I can get his player stats. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I apologize for that, but I mean his player stats. I feel like he averaged 13 points. I know, and maybe like a 9 assists. Let me get this together because I think I had the wrong thing popped up here. So Sheen Holloway college stats. I had to do it the long way now. So Mr. Sheen Holloway, like I said, he's a short guy. I remember him as a player. He came up in our era. Like I said, in our era, it was mostly about penetration, dribbling, penetrating. Here we go. This is his stats here. That was the style of play back in the days. You had to be able to get to the basket, specifically a New York City type of point guard, New York City metropolitan area kind of point guard. You had to get to the basket. So his game was getting to the basket. He was a decent scorer when he first came along, 17 points per game, 15. You see 9 there. You see 13 points. This has to do with the people that were on the roster. That for his points totals to go up and down. But like say the steals, steals also went up and down too. So that's interesting. I think I'm gonna actually click the school to see who we played with during these times. 96, 97. This is my senior year in high school here. So like I said, I definitely familiar with him during this time. Let's take a look at who we played with. He played with these are like a ragtag a bunch of names here. You got Lavelle Sanders, Daniel Williams. Nobody that you're ever gonna remember. But what was their record at the time? They were 10 and 18. Let's check out the next season. They're 15 and 15. See if we see any names here. Lavelle Sanders, same ragtag group of people here. But I guess he was the best player there. That's why he was the heavy scorer. Let's check out the next year. The next year he averaged 9 points per game. So his points went down. I just want to see who he played with. Dwayne Jordan, Chuck Moore. There's nobody here to really call home about. What was their record? 15 and 15. So he didn't really have that great of a success like early on in his career. So this is his most productive year. He was his team was 22 and 10. Let's see who he played with. Nobody that you could remember here. You got Darius Lane, uh, Samuel Dallenberg, that's a name that sticks out. These are guys that later on started to come in and play well. So I guess the next groups when Samuel Dallenberg came in, the next group that came in after him, those are the guys that really started to like really bring up the Seton Hall program and stuff. But all right, so during this time, Shane Holloway wasn't really that highly touted. So I'm pulling up his stats and stuff like that just to connect him coming to the Knicks. When he got to the Knicks, he wasn't drafted as number one. He went undrafted coming into the league, and the Knicks invited him to summer league. So the big thing about that is this interview that he did. Uh, that I think this is the Up in Smoke or what is it? This with the podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Let's see if I can pull this up here. I'm gonna share where I first saw it from. It's from a Twitter account called Sports Chatter Fire Tips. It's Nick's Chatter thing here on Twitter. So this is the clip here from what's the name of this podcast? Anyway, I don't listen to the podcast because I don't like to hear Matt Barnes talk, and I don't like to hear Steven Jackson talk. Both of those guys, they like to make themselves into be like these big super thugs, and then like the energy that they keep, as if that they still got like guys on the street, selling drugs for them and stuff like that. They're pretty cool. I like Matt Barnes and his the interaction with his little boys and stuff. That's pretty cool. But when they start talking about this, certain things, they always got like this aura as if they were like some kind of big time street guys. But kind of like turns me off a little bit. But anyway, let's just get into this interview here. So I'll just play with this entirety for this clip because this is what really intrigued me about this whole conversation.
I went to the Knicks because my silly self, like New York, I'm home. I can make it. Now back then, no one is telling you that they got three guards on guaranteed contract. So now there's Charlie Ward, there's Chris Childs, and there's Rick Brunson, right? And Rick Brunson's my guy. So now I'm like, all right, well, I played Rick Brunson in the summer leagues. Like I'm like, I could I could get his
I
job.
get at it. Yeah, I get at
You
it.
feel me?
Yeah.
Right? But like you don't know that Rick's been there for 2 or 3 years. Tibbs at the time was assistant coach. Tibbs love him. Like hey, Mace love him. God bless his dead. Oakland, like he's been there for 3 years. Like
So I mean, he uses Tibbs' name by he calls Tom Thibodeau's name outright, just saying it was Tibbs guy. Tibbs like Rick Brunson. So that's the politics in sports. Like there's certain guys on the roster that guys just simply like. So like it makes you wonder like why certain guys get more opportunity than others. Now I did say that Galloway was 5'10", but like I said, like from the era that I came in, Galloway was a big name. He used to bust everybody's ass in the summertime. I remember just seeing him a lot in the summertime tournaments and stuff. Like I said, like he was playing really good, for that time for the point guards or whatever. So he was a big name. He went undrafted because of his size. Excuse me. So let's keep it a buck with that. But we'll get into it, man, because he brings up Tom Thibodeau a couple times in this interview.
he's a he's one of their guys,
Right.
right? So I chose to go to the Knicks camp home. I'm in here. I'm working, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm working. I'm working these dudes. Working. Like I never forget this. Anthony Mason was like, "Yo, this dude belong on the team." Like I don't know, but the politics part of it, this dude belong on the team. Like Charles Oakley, right? I know he's a big brother to the show, right? So Charles Oakley's like, "Yo, he's gonna be my little man in veteran camp. Like I'm gonna take care of him."
Yeah.
Right. So I'm rocking.
So I'll stop it there because I mean, guys like Deuce McBride. I mean, Deuce McBride got the cosign from Derrick Rose. He got the cosign from Kemba Walker early on in his Knick career as well. So certain guys know that he can play, but you have to break the wall of Tom Thibodeau, the Tom Thibodeaus of the world, the guys that are stuck in the old school realm where I have my guy that's been playing for X amount of time. He's been doing all the work for me, but yeah, you might be better than him, but I'm not going to give you the opportunity over the guy that's already doing the work here, which is bullshit, man. Because in professional sports, I feel like that should be done with because In high school, I will understand. I'll give you my story. The high school that I went to, like I told the story once before, that I actually went into training camp. Not training camp, conditioning, basketball conditioning. Went through all the cuts and everything like that. So I ended up getting cut. Was I cut because I wasn't good? I was cut because I just like my coach is like, where the hell were you this whole time? You know what I'm saying? Is I can't tell this kid that I'm going to cut you from the basketball team when he has a partial scholarship to go to like another school, a D1 school, or he has a full scholarship to a D3 school. Meanwhile, the dude don't got no left hand. He can't shoot free throws. He can't get to the basket. But some D3 school wants him to be their starting point guard. You get what I'm saying? So I get that. But when it comes to the pro level, man, like this is business. So I mean, Rick Brunson, maybe he might have been like friends with certain people. Spreewell and Rick Brunson supposed to have been best friends. Like I said, Tom Thibodeau was coming up in the ranks too. Maybe Tom Thibodeau was friends with Spreewell, trying to get brownie points with certain players like that to get his career up. So there's a lot of politics in there. So having to do with that has nothing to do with his skill set and things like that. There's a few players that I could think of recently, especially there's another Seton Hall kid that I can't get his name right now. If somebody in the chat will pop it up for me, he was actually their star player in Seton Hall, but then the next game was shot. He might have said a little bit too much, and then now he's not in the league. They had a couple issues here, but the Knicks were paying him. So I mean, they kept giving him these little superficial contracts to keep paying him, but then they ended up waiving him anyway. He played in the G League a little bit. I think he went to the Bucks as well. I can't get the guy's name, but he was also from Seton Hall as well. So I mean, I get the whole thing, man. But politics in sports, it just sucks. Miles Powell, there you go, Mister Julian Trent. I appreciate you. Yeah, Miles Powell. The Knicks kept giving him little stupid contracts, just to keep his pockets fed, because somebody liked him in an organization. But Tom Thibodeau couldn't get him to break the chain of command because you got guys like Burks and Rolls and all this other stuff. So you can't, you're just not going to get opportunity. So I think that's what happened with Miles, not Miles McBride. I think that's what happened with him. He got sent to purgatory in the G League, destroying the G League. When it comes to the NBA, it can't even can't even get the ball in his hands as a point guard. So I just think that's a big problem, man. So I'm just gonna continue with the video to see if we can get into some more of this stuff here.
Never forget this, man. Like this sticks in my mind. That's why I tell the kids all the time. We're in practice, right? So Tibbs, they do 3 days, and two of them is all defensive practice, right? So um, Rick Brunson came down and scored, and he elbowed me. Boom. I'm like, all right. So I went down and scored on him. The very next play, he bring the ball up. I rip him. I scored. Tibbs was like, yo, whoa, young fella. He's a veteran. Go stand on the wall. The next two practices, he had me on the wall, bro. I ain't said a word.
That's crazy to me. So I can see that happening now. So this is the connection I'm trying to make with this Shane Holloway stuff, man. I can see that happening now. I can see Deuce McBride stripping Kemba, or I can see him stripping Burks, or this guy Miles Powell, like I'm talking about. I can see Miles Powell dropping 30 on any of these guys, busting their ass, talking shit, and this, that, and the other. And I can see an asshole like Tom Thibodeau saying, "Hey, that's a veteran. You can't do that. Go stand in the corner now." You know what I'm saying? Now your career is over because you're nice and you thinking that if I play my best, my hardest, I might have a shot to make an NBA team. So but that's not the case. When you show up to these NBA arenas, you have to know who's there. You got to have an agent that has their foot in the sand, that knows what these guys are looking for. So you don't go in there and blow your opportunity just because you just thinking that I'm gonna just go in there and destroy guys when that's not the case. When it comes to pro sports, it's not about you going in there and destroying guys. It's about you going in there and getting a job, securing a job. Not necessarily trying to make somebody else look bad. Which to me it shouldn't be. Like I feel like some of these new teams now that are succeeding in the NBA now. There's a lot of youth, a lot of young guys that are getting opportunities. With the NBA has changed. This is not the '90s and stuff where the veterans run the league. Where you got guys that are like 35 and 37 that are starting. 32, 31, 32, 33, 34 starting in the NBA, and the whole starting lineup is in their mid to late 30s, quote unquote, in their prime and all this other stuff. While the young guys just got to sit and wait their turn. This is a different era here now, where guys like Chris Paul is like 30, whatever he is, 38 years old. I don't know how old Chris Paul is, but he's starting and playing in the rotation with guys in their early 20s and stuff. So like it doesn't matter like whether or not you have that veteran thing. Like this is not the '90s anymore. So I like this is the big point with Tom Thibodeau. Like I'm sick of talking about it. Like he wants us to watch games 3 or 4 times and this, that, and the other. But meanwhile, stuff like this happens and it continues to happens in the NBA. Continues to happen. We cannot get better if you're gonna have a guy like this in charge. Right at this point, and Sheen Holloway's talking about Tom Thibodeau as an assistant coach. He wasn't even like a name coach at the time. He was just a guy that just came on as an assistant. So you're talking about a guy that's trying to keep his job as well. So you have to keep Rick Brunson happy. You have to, because guys like him or whatever. You can't make Rick Brunson look bad. Just for Shane Holloway to come up or whatever, because you're trying to keep your job. You get what I'm trying to say? So this is what he came up with. But I mean, like I'm trying to tell you guys that the time has changed. So let me hear what else he has to say, because I mean the interview is almost over. It's got about like 13 seconds. Let me see if he has anything else to say.
So people like, yo, Rick, why you do that, bro? You know how Tipsy gonna do that. He's like, yo, he trying to take my spot. And I'm not mad. I was mad at him then, but now when you look back at him,
You get it.
surviving. You feel me?
Yeah, so I get it, man. He's trying to survive to protect his job and this, that, and the other. But the point I'm trying to make, man, is that like those days are over, man. If guys are better than other guys, you got to give those guys opportunities. Tom Thibodeau dropped the ball last season by saying that Walker wasn't the fit. Then he put Burks as a starter. Meanwhile, you got Deuce and you got Quickly and all these guys waiting in the wing. He didn't go to the guys that he had. He didn't at that point that was an opportunity to take Quickly and put him in a starting spot and just let him do what he does. You know what I'm saying? Other teams have done it. So I just don't understand why he didn't just give Quickly the reins at that point. Deuce McBride as well. If you're not if Rose is hurt and Walker's out, why isn't Deuce McBride called up to be that backup point guard? You drafted him for a reason. So those these are the type of things that really irks me as a fan of basketball, especially nowadays when you see all these other young guys step in and really contribute and stuff. So shout out to Shaheen Holloway. He was able to get himself together basketball while still stay in the circle, whatever, and show the kids and tell them these stories, from the old NBA and stuff like this, just to give them a perspective about what these NBA teams are looking for. So I'm hoping that all these stars that come into the league, these guys that are coaching in the college and stuff like that, or these young guys, they say like a Monty Williams and what's the other dude, the African dude that this coaching the Boston Celtics. I'm hoping these guys are changing this whole rhetoric, the old style of basketball where the veterans run the league, and they don't let guys show their skill. You got to pay your dues and this, that, and the other, or just like break your confidence to the point where you just don't play basketball anymore. So a guy like Shaheen Holloway, he never got his chance to play in the NBA. He got a chance with the Knicks. He blew that chance. That was a mistake on his part. And he does talk about this in his interview. But then also the Washington Wizards as well. He went there. That's probably another team he probably shouldn't have went to, because I think at the time when he got drafted, Ross Strickland was over there, if I'm not mistaken. So that was probably a mistake on his part to go there as well. Like, I'm not really sure the timeline, but I know he came out in the 90s, 1997, 96, 97. So I know the Wizards had their own things going on there. You know what I'm saying. So that might have been a bad decision on his part as well. But as far as him playing overseas and stuff, if you look at his Wikipedia, I think he did go on to play overseas and that type of thing. But it's good to see that he was able to find his niche, and actually playing, doing a really great job coaching these Seton Hall Knights here, man. With their nice little run that they had in the playoffs and stuff. Hopefully, it would be so funny for a guy like Shaheen Holloway to get his chance to coach in the NBA or something like that, and really like get into those rooms that Tom Thibodeau's been in all these years, and just kick his ass on the way out. Because I mean Tom Thibodeau, to me, if just from this conversation alone, just from this was happening with the Shaheen Holloway stuff, the story that he told here, Tom Thibodeau shouldn't be in the NBA. He shouldn't be our coach. We shouldn't even be talking about this dude anymore. We should be talking about the young guys that we have on the roster and things of that nature. So anyway, State's supposed to be coming in here. State is at work. State just hit me up saying that he was on his way trying to get himself together. I'm not sure if we are going to see him tonight, but we'll see, man. We got a few more minutes to see. He said he's heading upstairs now, so we'll see if State will come up in here. Hopefully he's watching and he can see me talking here, calling him out, and trying to get him here or whatever. So I mean, it is hard to get these podcasts together, man. I try to get a schedule going, and I think I will do that this summer just to keep things honest here, because we can't be going on like this where we have a podcast scheduled, and then we gotta completely, get rid of it because we just can't make the pod. So I apologize on that for fans that watch the show. I'm gonna try to be more consistent. I have a lot of things that I want to talk about, but I just haven't been able to do it. This especially with, like, say, like a character like Shaheen Holloway and this story with Tom Thibodeau. These are all important stories that need to be told that people are not really focusing on. And I just think it's important that these stories can come out there. That way, that those that are so gun ho about keeping Tom Thibodeau as the head coach here will get the full picture and understand why most of us can't stand this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We can't stand Tom Thibodeau for a reason, not just because, oh, we're just one of those guys that just every year we want to fire the coach because we're not winning. It's simply not like that. It's a lot deeper than that. And these stories like this, I understand that all the stuff to be true, and this all happens a lot more often than a lot of people give credit for. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, going forward with the Knicks, man, I just want the Knicks to win. I don't care how we win or how we lose or whatever. I just want to be a competitive basketball team, and I want to utilize the people that we have on the roster. So while we're waiting for State here, because State wants to get into uh some of the yeah, he wants to talk about how we can improve the roster. We're both going to give 3 ways to improve the roster. So while we're doing that, let's get that prepared. We got I'm gonna do the Knicks what do you call basketball reference. I'll put that up so we can get that going here. So let me share this. Let me stop sharing this. Share this up here, and I'll share the screen so we can get the whole Knicks roster. All right, so I mean, this is the Knicks roster here. I'm just looking at look. This is all the plays that we had this year. Just looking at some of these guys here. Ferran Hunt, we didn't get a chance to see him play. These are guys that the front office signed that Tom Thibodeau just ignored. So I mean, conversations like that we just had with this Galloway with this Holloway dude, Shaheen Holloway. Ferran Hunt doesn't stand a chance with Tom Thibodeau as a coach. He's never going to get a shot. The front office saw the talent, whatever, and they put him in the room with Tom Thibodeau, and Tom Thibodeau just going to have him stand in the corner, just like Shaheen said. Go stand in the corner, and I'll call you when I need you. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Archinato, he's another guy associated with Villanova. It's interesting with that because he actually played ball with Brunson, Rick Brunson's son, which is what coincidence with Sheen Holloway. There's the conversation with Sheen Holloway that this guy Brunson actually played with Ryan Archinato, whatever his name is. So there's a connection there. So I mean, it's very possible the Knicks front office could be looking at a dude like Brunson. But the question is, it comes back to Tom Thibodeau. That's why we can. Me personally, I cannot get past the conversation because we have to put the Tom Thibodeau factor into this. If we make a move, is Tom Thibodeau going to okay it? Shout out to what's his name, Cam Reddish. We traded for Cam Reddish, traded first round pick for him. We had a need for him. We had injuries and stuff. There was an easy spot in the rotation to stick Cam Reddish in there, and Tom Thibodeau refused to put him in. Tom Thibodeau refused to put Cam Reddish in the rotation and said that, I already have my set rotation right in the middle of a losing streak. We were in the middle of a losing streak when he was talking about, oh yeah, I got my set rotation and all this. You know what I'm saying? So this is the guy that's running the team right now. So how could we get better with a guy like this running the basketball team? The good thing about it now is that Cam Reddish is on the roster, so he's gonna have to see these guys in training camp and go with what he has. Now the most important thing here is you got guys like Alec Burke, you got Evan Fournier, Rose is coming back, Taj Gibson's still on the roster. So these are a bunch of veteran guys that Tom Thibodeau is going to be going to. Right off the bat, he's going to go to those guys. Because that's who he knows. Those are the guys that's been in the league. Those are the guys that have a resume for him to go back and look at the data about what guys, how guys are, how good guys are. These young guys don't have that pedigree. Emmanuel quickly is now going into his third year now. Third year playing in the NBA, 2 year veteran, third year coming into the NBA. He has he's just doing the work that Tom Thibodeau's asking him to do. But can he get past the Alec Burke starting point guard thing? Can he get past the Derrick Rose, the love for Derrick Rose? Can he overcome that to the degree where you have to forcibly play this guy? You have to forcibly play Emmanuel quickly. Is he going to be good enough to do that? I just don't think that's gonna happen. I just don't think that's going to happen. We stuck between a rock and a hard place. A guy like Obi Toppin, he was afraid for the Tom Thibodeau was going to pull him. It's not necessarily being afraid. It's that just the manner in which he does. If he's gonna pull Obi Toppin, that means that he's gonna disregard him and send him in the corner the same way that he did Shaheen Holloway all those years ago. It's not just that he's not playing Obi Toppin, it's just that he's disregarding him, disregarding his skills as a basketball player, not trying to see how we can implement the offense to get him involved. No, it's just like, yo, I just don't want you by. I got Julius Randle. I got certain guys. I want these guys to play. It comes down to all these different things. Like Mitchell Robinson. If Taj Gibson was 5 years younger, Mitchell Robinson would not play. Taj Gibson would be the starting center, and that would be the end of it. But it's just that Taj Gibson's so old that he can't go to him. He can't go to him because he's so old. But if Taj Gibson got it that night, all of a sudden Taj Gibson is going to give you 30 something minutes. So this is the coach that's running this team. And I'm calling out everybody else, man. Everybody that's on Twitter mostly that's talking all the junk about how who do you want then? If you're gonna get rid of Tom Thibodeau, who are we gonna bring onto the team? It doesn't matter. We need to get somebody in here that when you have a conversation with the front office, if we make moves and this, that, and the other, we're gonna be on the same page where you're gonna use these guys that we bring onto the roster to make the team better. Not just use these guys, use only the veterans, only looking at the team from one side. You have to look at it all 15 and how all these guys can could make better, make your team better. Shout out to the Pelicans, all these different guys, man. Shout out to all these other teams, these new guys out here. Like I said, the Boston Celtics coach, like I said, the Pelicans coach, Monty Williams and those guys, all these different coaches out there, they're utilizing the youth and taking advantage of what these guys do to make the current team better. And I think that's so important, for us going forward. And we can't I feel like we can't go we're not gonna go to where we need to go unless we get rid of Tom Thibodeau. It's really nothing to it. So like I said, the signs are pointing for us to get this guy, this Brunson kid. Rick is in my mind. I can't get the kid's name. But this Brunson kid from Dallas. It seems like we're probably gonna get him. I don't know how we're gonna get him. We're gonna have to make a trade of some kind of way. The front office might have to trade certain guys just to get them off the roster, so Tom Thibodeau won't play those guys over the guys that we bring in. So I mean, like if we got to do that, then Tom Thibodeau got to go, man. If you have to do things like that to confuse Tom Thibodeau to force him to play certain guys by eliminating certain guys from the roster, then we need to get rid of him as a coach. I really can't get past it. Even a guy like Donovan Mitchell, say like Donovan Mitchell and this guy Goldberg are supposed to be at odds now. So ultimatums and stuff like that have been put out there from Goldberg's side of things. These are rumors. About splitting them up because they can't play with each other anymore. Okay, say like the Knicks have all these assets, we have all these young players, we have all of our draft picks and stuff like that, so we can make a play for players like this. The Brunsons and the Donovan Mitchells of the world. We can make a play for these type of guys, but we still have Tom Thibodeau as the coach. You know what I'm saying? So if we get rid of these guys, then what's going to happen when it comes to roster development? What's going to happen? Once we get Brunson, is Brunson going to be standing on the corner waiting for Julius Randle to give him the ball? If you get Donovan Mitchell, if that is Donovan Mitchell going to be standing there one on one with nobody cutting and just like Donovan Mitchell just score 30? If you can't score 30, we're gonna lose. Shit is crazy, man. Lucas he mentions Lucas Samanik. I don't know what happened with Luca. He got hurt, and the Knicks just waived him. They waived him to give a chance to this kid here, Ferron Hunt. But Ferron Hunt never got his chance. He never got a chance to get not even 1 minute on the basketball court with the Knicks. So it is what it is, man. I mean, like a guy like Samanik, was he gonna get time with Obi Toppin here and Julius Randle? Probably not. But if we're losing and stuff like that, it would have been nice to see him bring him up there. But like I said, the argument comes right back to Tom Thibodeau. Will Tom Thibodeau play these guys? We got Ralph Diaz here. What's good, Ralph? Yeah, man. Mr. Ralph, we're waiting for this guy State to pop in here. So I don't think State is gonna come here. State is working. So I would open up the chat for you guys to come up in here, but I mean, this is kind of like messed up today. But I'll be back another night. Maybe I'm thinking maybe Wednesday. So like I said, I'm gonna try to be more consistent. That way I'll have things on the docket so you guys can just follow me or whatever. The Diehard hour is about 9:30. Between 8 and 9:30, you'll see me pop up on here. But like I said, I'm gonna try to be more consistent so you guys know when I'm popping up on here and we can act accordingly. So anyway, I'm gonna end the podcast and then I'll catch you guys another time. Shout out to State. State. Me and State will link up again soon. Like I said, State is working. But at this time, man, I can't wait for him any longer, man. We should have been rocking, 45 minutes ago. But we had to start it late, and it is what it is, man. Let me see what comment is talking about. I would like to trade our 11th pick for the Spurs 20th and 25th. This is something that I would do. I would do that because there's nobody really at the 11th spot that's really that crazy for me. But if you're gonna do that, then you might as well package that 11th pick and somebody else to get us a starter in here. You know. So as soon as I say that I'm about to get out of here, State pops up. So what's good, State? Oh, State just deleted himself. All right. So I mean, State just popped up. So we'll see what let's see if State pops back in. If State pops back in, then we'll get the second part of the show in. All right. So here goes State. Yes, State. You hear me, man?
His shit.
How's the audio? I can hear you, but can you hear me?
I cannot hear shit.
Yeah, yeah. Get the audio together, my man. Yeah, man. Mr. State, he's here now. We were supposed to talk about who we can add to the roster to improve. We're gonna pick three different I guess
No,
three different criteria.
I now I can hear myself. Oh, you was hearing me swear.
Yeah, I can hear everything you're saying.
Oh, my bad. Yo, what's up, buddy? My bad, yo. I got a new, like, um, my new boss, my new boss. She's a female, and I look at them like aunties, so I couldn't tell, So I kind of did her a favor, but she be holding me down, so my bad. But I'm here though. What's up?
I got you. Yeah, man. Well, in the beginning of the show, I was talking about Shaheen Holloway and
Yeah.
his situation, but that situation connects right into Tom Thibodeau. So I already went through the whole video. Whatever you saw the video.
Yes, I did. And I seen what he said, which a lot of it is kind of like it was kind of false. Like the I guess the timelines was mixed up what he was talking about. Because I think Oak was traded in like 9-6. I think it was. And I don't know, but whatever the case may be, like Oakley, he said he brought up Oakley, he brought up Mace, RP Anthony Mason. And he had
Well,
got the
Oakley, I think was traded right after that because Oakley got traded right before the '99 season. That's when we got Camby and all those guys.
oh, all right. So
Yeah, so Oakley was there.
yeah, he was basically, he was bringing that up, but the part that the part that alarmed me was when he was talking about how he was a young guy battling for minutes, and Thibodeau Thibodeau kind of shot him away, and then put the vet in the spot, and then Nick fans we caught wind of that, and we ran with it. So it was I mean, hey, like his story is wishy washy, but at the same time, I could kind of believe some of those old school principles and stuff that he said about Tibbs, because I seen it right before my eyes. Like he don't care about who's better than who. He's gonna ride with his guys. He don't care about no game plan. He wants his own game plan. He want to do what the hell he want to do. He want to make up these lame fake excuses at the end of the season, talking about, oh, I wish I played the kid sooner. Like listen, I'm too grown for that, man. You gotta stop lying, man. So hey, either you want to defend Tibbs or you want to defend this guy, or you against this guy, or you against Tibbs. Either way, it's like it's a story for both sides.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, I was connecting with it is because that's the same thing that's happening now. Because I mean, we had like 4 or 5 point guards on the roster. If you count Brooks, we got like 5 point guards on the roster. So you mean to tell me that Rose is wrong? Rose and Walker were wrong for saying that Deuce was not busting their ass in practice. He was competing with them in practice, so he was showing them what he can do in practice. I also brought up Miles Turner. Shout out to Julius Chandler. He corrected me. It's Miles Powell. Miles Powell, when he came in here, he was saying that he was chirping last year, saying that he was busting their ass in practice. You know what I'm saying? But that got him in trouble. That got him kicked off the team basically because I guess you don't do that. That's something that you don't do. One guy I want to bring up too that was kind of famous too. Remember LeVar Postel? LeVar Postel said that he was better than Houston and Spreewell. It's just that they get more playing time than he does. Next thing Postel was out the league on no team. He never got no tryout for no team at that point. Because I guess with the fraternity in the NBA, you just don't do that, especially during that time period where the veterans ran the show.
Yeah,
Like rookies can't come into the league saying I'm better than the vet. You just couldn't do that. But I mean, Tom Thibodeau seems to be doing that now in 2022. While we look at a team like Boston, we look at a team like the Pelicans, we look at a team like Phoenix they got coaches that are playing everybody. It doesn't matter when you came in the NBA if you could play. Even like a team like the Nets. How many young guys has he used Steve Nash this year to save their season when they had so many injuries and stuff? If it was Tom Thibodeau would just would let the floor burn beneath you just for his principles about playing veterans and stuff like that.
what those coaches got in common that you just said?
Um,
Willie Green, Monty Williams, and what was the third team you said?
was the, what Boston?
In Boston. What's all three coaches got in common?
They weren't born in the 50s.
Well, it's more to it than that. But anybody who's watching the show, what do those three coaches got in common that Tibbs don't got?
Hairline? I don't know.
Like when I hear those coaches talk, I feel like I can relate to them. Like when I hear Tibbs talk, I feel like he lying to me. I feel like he's never telling me the truth. It's always coach speak. I don't like coach speak no more. He can't game me no more. Like he could have, if he would have adjusted this season properly, I think we wouldn't really get at that man. But the fact that he had no accountability this season, he didn't adjust. He did the same thing over and over. I can't believe anything he says when he says stuff like, when we trade for Cam Reddish, he says my rotation is set. When remember when he said that? We was in the midst of like a 5-game losing streak, bro. Literally, like, how dare you say your rotation is set? Set for who? Who these guys fighting for minutes for, dog? Like, and then people say, oh, our rookie's not good. The Warriors got Wiggins, they got Otto Porter Jr., they got Andre Iguodala. I ask you, Diehard, if you had a guy like Kuminga, would you even be like, yo, would you even say why is Kuminga not playing? We would never have that convo. You see those three guys I just named ahead of him? That's all productive vets, yeah. All young vets, they either young or old, but they all productive. That's not Alfred Payton. That's not Reggie Bullock. That's not Evan Fournier and Alec Burks.
Well, back to what you were saying earlier about the coaches. What's the difference? Like I know physically it's black coaches, right? But I don't think that's what it is. All three
No,
coaches made the playoffs. It's not that simple either. That
no,
what connects them is the fact that they all played in the NBA, right?
and
Is
they're
that the
all
connection you made?
innovative. They all played in the NBA. Like, they all play? Two of them played guard positions, right? Willie Green played the guard position. Monty
Well,
Williams played the guard position. Like them dudes played basketball before.
and they from the era too, because I mean, Monty Williams was drafted by the Knicks, never got a shot. If you look at his playing career, I'm gonna have to jump through hoops with reaching. I mean, with this website here, but he did play basketball. I think he played for the Spurs for a little while. He had to bounce around the league and prove that he could play, prove his worth in the NBA. They didn't give him a shot with the Knicks. He had that heart problem too, but there's a couple things that goes on with that. Let's I'm just let me get this together.
All,
The
tro-
Celtics coach.
all trolling aside, it's never a black and white thing when it comes to coaches. It's either you could coach or you can't. It's either you can Nick Nurse your way to a damn championship or you could Tom Thibodeau your way and look ass. So it's never a black and white thing when it comes to coaches. Like that Memphis coach, he's a great. What's his name? Finch? Chris Finch?
Right.
I love that dude. He's a great coach, yo. And his demeanor is always like he always calm. Like I can't deal with I don't know, man. I can't deal with the screaming and stuff no more. Like I don't know.
But the thing is, screaming for what? You know, you're screaming just to make everyone forget that you have no coaching, that you have no basketball experience. You know, Ime Udoka, you know, he actually got drafted by the Knicks too. You know, there's another common denominator between him and Monty Williams, same type of player. You know, end up playing for San Antonio as well. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you
Wasn't
know,
it made a big
no, he was basically the same thing as Monty Williams. They were like swingmen.
swinging?
Yeah. What's the other kid you said from Memphis? The Memphis coach? You said
Taylor Jenkins, my fault.
yeah,
I think Chris Finch. Taylor Jenkins, yeah, he's a yo. Taylor Jenkins is a great coach. So it's not no, it's never a black and white thing.
right. So I would like to know Taylor Jenkins story. You know, like how did he ascend into getting to become a coach and stuff.
But, but you, what the other thing I'm getting at is you know what they're trying to do. Like these teams, they know how they're trying to attack. I'm watching the playoffs. These teams is attacking mismatches. They haven't the offenses is so complex. Like I'm watching Dallas. Like even if you got two standstill players, right? I'm literally watching Dallas always have one weak side action. Their guys know where to be. You always got one guy cut into the rim, and like you know what they trying to do. They trying to five out, spread you out, spread the floor. They ball handlers try to get to the rim. They trying to hit the corner three every time.
Who's
They
their
pick
coach?
you apart. Jason Kidd,
Another former basketball player.
one of the top, arguably a top 5 point guard of all time. Arguably,
Yo,
probably.
Golden State is they credit Mark Jackson for setting the table there, which he did.
Yes,
You
he
know,
did.
he set the table there. But Steve Kerr is also a guy that won in this league. He won in San Antonio and won with the Bulls. You know,
Yep.
he had a long career, whatever. So I mean, these guys see the game. They understand camaraderie. They understand how to get the best out of guys, especially like a guy like Kerr that was at the end of the people's benches towards the end of his career. You know,
Mhm.
just being ready and stuff like that. So you got to be able to see the game through the eyes of a player. So if you're just looking at it from a standpoint of like a Tom Thibodeau did, just like who gave him his shot? You know, I don't remember like Tom Thibodeau. You know, like his names don't ring bell in basketball circles as far as playing basketball. So how did he get his shot? You know, somebody hooked him up with this job, and you know, and that's how we got it. I just don't know his story. But outside of that, there's nothing that I can go to and say, okay, Tom Thibodeau played here, he played there, or whatever. Spolstra actually played. You know, Jeff Van Gundy played somewhere. You know, in D3, he was a starting point guard in D3. Stan Van Gundy also played. So there's certain guys like that you can go to and you can actually look at that they say, oh, they played. You know, but Tom Thibodeau, I don't have that. I don't have that link, or if anybody can direct me into where he played at. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he has to keep that stick in order to keep his job, and he's doing it up until this day.
Yo, that's crazy how you made it like the connections between like these coaches and these teams that's actually doing well in the playoffs, man. It's so beautiful. Like and don't get me wrong, like not every coach has to play basketball to be a great coach. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I would prefer that. um
Well, shout out to this guy, Doc Rivers. What did Doc Rivers do to Embiid, man? You know, they were up by like 20 something. What the fuck was Embiid doing in the game for him to get fucked up the way that he did? Now,
that's
now he might not. He has an orbital you
face
know
fraction.
yeah, face fracture. You know, so he might not play in the next round. You know, but meanwhile, in the game that he got hurt, they were up by 20. What the fuck was he doing in the game? That sounds like Tom Thibodeau, right? And who was his top assistant? You know, who was Doc Rivers' top assistant when they won? Tom Thibodeau. So Tom Thibodeau just repeating shit that other people did because he's faking it. That's the point I'm trying to make. He's been faking it this whole time.
Yeah, he got RJ hurt the same way. You playing a 40 minutes of meaningless game. You try to win the game for no reason. Instead of trying to see all your guys on the roster, see who can play what, see who's your future. You playing Alec Burks 40. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. You can't do stuff like that. If they lose, that's on Doc Rivers. That's on nobody else but him. You can't have your best player in the game. You up 30, bro. Let that man sit down. Play a young guy. Get him some minutes out there. You don't see Steve Kerr throw like his team up 20, he throwing them young boys out there.
Right.
You can understand why Kuminga not getting no minutes. I understand. Like anybody who watched the Warriors, I mean, why would you complain if Kuminga not getting regular minutes in that rotation? I'm not playing Kuminga over Iguodala in the playoffs. I know I love kids, bro, but I'm trying. That's just a logical decision to me.
But check it. Kaminga got his chance to play
He
on,
did.
on Golden State. He held them down when they had their injuries and stuff. But now, they got their veteran guys coming back in, and it's not like these veteran guys are Alec Burke or anything like that. These guys are like, gonna go down as like some of the great basketball players that ever played. These are the guys that came back in. So Kaminga could take a year off per se, and then get ready for next year because next year they're gonna put him in there. He's gonna get his shot next year.
That's a fact.
You know.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But that's how you develop. I mean, I can understand. But once again, it's not like he's sitting behind Alec Burks and Evan Fournier. If you got a guy drafted that high, or even if you got a young guy in general, if you 12 games under 500, there's no way how you don't throw them boys out there. Even if you like you trying to improve your assets, right? And at the same time, you trying to see if these young boys is long-term keepers. And we mismanaged, well, not we, but Tibbs really mismanaged this season, man. He really did. And I like the way how the playoffs is going. I like the way how these coaches is making adjustments, something I'm not used to. I'm not used to watching players cut. I'm not used to drag pick and rolls. I'm not used to Spain pick and rolls, flex screen. I'm not used to that.
I'm not used to it in the playoffs where the rotations are wide open. That the guys are getting a shot to play. They're making adjustments on the fly. Guys are getting a chance to play. Guys that are coming in there are not just coming in there wild and energy. They're coming in there. They know what's going on. Like if the coach calls on them, they could come in the game and contribute. Not just playing off of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Or
coach knows
narrative.
who they are.
Like, I, listen, man, I love what I'm seeing in the playoffs, man. It's one of the most exciting playoffs I've seen in a while. And I'm kind of annoyed that the Knicks ain't a part of this. Because the road to the finals is not hard after you get out the first round. And be hurt. Who you trust, Miami? I ain't scared of no damn Miami. So, like,
Yeah, let me mention it you because you talked about Memphis, right, with their coach. Who do they got starting right now as a starting power forward? Xavier Tillman. Xavier Tillman. I'm looking at his stats now. He only averaged 13 minutes a game this year. But how is he starting? For the Memphis Grizzlies right now. The Memphis might win a championship. And they got a guy named Xavier Tillman starting for them. He's still not really giving you that much of a thing, but he's put him in the spot because he knows that he can how he can get the most out of certain players. You get what I'm saying? Like a guy like Tom Thibodeau wouldn't do that. And at the same time, he's giving Tillman a shot as a starter in the playoffs, but still has his guy Brandon Clark to come behind him to do whatever, man. You have to utilize all your players. You cannot just show up in the playoffs with only six guys and don't even look down the bench to see who else you have or how you can take advantage of certain players, certain matchups on against other teams. Come on, man. That's what aggravates me so much about this whole thing.
yeah, Tibbs is a sad individual. I hope he get it together, though. Player, because they learn a lot from different coaches. Well, Tibbs ain't learned a lot when he took that year off. Because I don't take no stock in what he did in the season before this one. This season, he's still the same dude. Run the same offense from the season before. Still the same, just same everything. It's the same.
Yeah, I mean, like coaches get better by talking to other coaches. It's a fraternity. He was in the USA program, so he got a chance to talk with Coach K and all these other guys to learn different philosophies. And maybe you should add because I'm saying, like me and you are here talking on a podcast. How many other people have podcasts? They give their opinion, and people, oh shit, never thought of it that way. Or you say something to me that I'm like, damn, I never thought of it. Or I might say something to you that might throw you off too. Like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm quite sure basketball guys sitting there talking to each other. I'm a coach. This is what I do. Hey, yo, Tom, I think you should do this. I think you should. This is what you should add to your to what you this might work for what you're trying to do. Oh shit, I think you're right. You know what I'm saying? Again, with your peers and you're just talking basketball. You know, there's no way that Tom Thibodeau can't. It's not getting the information from these guys.
No.
You know, unless they're around him, yes, men and him around. Oh yeah, Tom Thibodeau is my guy. Yeah, yeah. Only being with you know, talking to him because I want to get a job later. You know, I'm thinking of it that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that's not what it is. You know, but if you're sitting there talking to a D'Antoni, or you're talking to a Coach K, or you're talking to or Steve Kerr, all these guys that are involved with Team USA, how do you not get better as a coach? You know, you just straight stuck in your ways and that's it.
So so I seen a clip from another pod, and Fred Katz was speaking, and he was talking about the Knicks, and the Knicks had the 11th ranked defense this season. And I'm gonna ask you a question: what did your eyes tell you about the Knicks defense this season?
Yo, man.
We had the 11th ranked defense this season. What your eyes told you though?
Well, I mean, listen, a lot of times it looked like we had no defensive scheme. Like it was just like whatever happens happens. We're not going to make adjustments. Guys shoot threes. We're still going to let them shoot threes as much as they want. You know, it's you know that's Tom Thibodeau to me. You know, he just has like this is what I want to do, and we're not going to deviate from it. You know, like if you're asking me like were we a good defensive team? You know, I guess if you want to say ranked 11th, that's like right in the middle. I guess we were right in the middle of the pack. You know, I don't know.
So, um, the fact that so let me ask you another question. Fred Katz also said, "Well, it's the talent on the roster." So you think Tibbs didn't have the players to run his scheme, or was he the problem?
Well, according to some numbers, IQ is like one of the greatest defenders in the NBA, right? According to some of the numbers out there that you put out there, Obi Toppin too has some of the those deep cut numbers that people like to throw out there. I think you did that. You threw Obi and IQ's number. They were like top five in the NBA in defense or whatever.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
like the fact that I gotta hear this propaganda and hear people say, Tibbs didn't have the horses. What do you mean he didn't have the horses? So next season, when he has the horses, because I know we're not gonna get a lot of these trades that we talk about, bro. A lot of them is pipe dreams. If you've been a Knicks fan for about 20 years, we could talk the trades and stuff. It sound good, but nobody's coming to save us, and a lot of people don't want that smoke. So I mean, hey, man, it's tough, man.
so I mean, how do we get better? Because I mean that's you know that's what you wanted to talk about. You wanted to bring in three ways that we would improve the team.
Um, First way is all right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put the third thing into the first thing. So the first thing I would do this off season is I would attach, I would definitely attach a first to get off of some of these contracts that we have. I would attach a future first, and then while attaching a future first, I'm resigning Mitch and I'm resigning RJ. So basically, the first thing is like tying them together. So I'm gonna assume, just to be realistic, that we get the 11th pick in this scenario. Just to be straightforward, we get the 11th pick. So deal, I would swap 30 for Jalen Brunson, um, and I would pay. Damn, this is tough. I would pay Jalen Brunson 20 million. I would pay RJ at least 28 million, and I would pay Mitch at least 14 million. 14, 20, 14, 20, 42. That's damn near like 60 million in those three players. So I'm basically saying to Jalen Brunson that this is basically your show.
That's what you're doing. Yeah. After Jalen Brunson's run the last year, are you saying Jalen Brunson? This is your show.
This your show. This is you and RJ show. This y'all show. It's your turn. Once I swap Randall for Jalen Brunson, you gotta give him the keys. He's not coming here to play off ball. Why would you take away from his game? So the selling point would be now. Now let's say 20 million is sound crazy. Let's say we could get him at least 18 million per, and then go up to like 80 million in like incentives. That's probably like 18 million per. That sounds way better than 20 million. 20 sound crazy. But I know he's gonna get his money. He's gonna get 20 million at least. So I would definitely do that swap. But the reason why Dallas would want to entertain that swap is because they don't have a dominant front court player, and they're already in luxury tax. You hear stories like the New Jersey Nets. They just lost at least $175 million since COVID. And Kyrie Irving wants a 5-year, 200 something, whatever $1 million deal. And how the hell are you going to pay him when you just lost 175 million? So you got to take all of that into account. So if I have to attach a first round pick to get off other long-term deals, or to get off Randall and to attach a guy like Evan Fournier and Burks in that deal, I would do it. And I would do it for Jalen Brunson. I would definitely do that. Shit, I'll give him that pick back. You want your pick back? But I don't think, matter of fact, I'm not giving him their pick back. I think that's a fair trade. Randall's a talent. I'm not going to doodle on Randall like that. And they don't have no front court help. Well, who's your premier front court player for Dallas? Miles Powell?
Yeah, Miles Powell. He's a trash heap player.
Dog water. So now, with the lottery pick, right?
But you traded a lot. You kept this year's pick, or you
I
gave
kept this year's pick. I kept this year's pick. Now with the lottery pick, now that you know you got Brunson, you got RJ, you got Mitch, you got all those guys in the building. You still got Obi, you still got IQ. You still got IQ. You still got Quentin Grimes. Now with the 11th pick, you could go either way. Now you could go wing. I would really go wing here since you re-signed Mitch already, and I would just pick a wing. I feel like the guard spot is locked up already. Are we going to trade Derrick Rose? I think that's another question that needs to be answered. I think that's another question that needs to be answered. But besides that, you trade, swap Randall for Jalen Brunson. Give Jalen Brunson a 4-year, $72 million with incentives to go up to $80 million. Resign RJ. For a hypothetical sake, I'm gonna say his contract probably starts at like 28 to 30. Whew, that boy, brother. I hope he prepared for that smoke.
Who's that? That's RJ.
Yeah. Whew, that sounds like. Whew.
So I mean, the starting lineup will be Obi, Reddish, Mitch, Brunson, RJ, right?
Now, so in that Jalen Brunson deal, now that's when I would try to get Vinley Smith.
Who's that?
Doris Vinny Smith. Damn, I could buy.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
From
god.
Dallas.
Yes.
Right.
Vinny Smith. I like D&D wing. Hold on, I keep saying his goddamn name wrong. But that's what I would target as well in that trade. So if I got to give up a couple seconds, I would. Because Dallas is going to be in cap hell, and I know Mark Cuban does not like paying a luxury tax. So I think they will want to shed some salary.
They got a lot of dead players too, man. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. as a dead player, Trey Burke. A lot of guys that were hurt last year that are just dead weight players. They can't really do nothing for their roster.
Well, I don't want none of those guys. What's his name? Vinny Smith.
Well, I mean, we're giving them not for nothing. If we trade in Julius Randle for Brunson, we're giving up the better player. So I mean, You said
I said we are.
right. So I mean, adding like that Finney Smith to the deal wouldn't be so far from that from the imagination. Just to even just to make numbers work. I'm not sure what that kid makes. Let me see what he makes.
I think it makes about like I think he make a good contract too. I think it's a
He makes decent money, I think. Get down to it. He makes 4 million a year.
but I know he got extended though.
Yeah, he did. Oh, so that four goes up to 12.
12? He makes
Yeah,
12
12,
million?
yeah, 12, 13, 14, and then 15 in the last year. So that's-
That's just around the money I want to pay Cam Reddish, and that's just around the same type of money. But yeah, he'd be good, and he's an instant starter. I trust the. I like his game. He don't try too much.
So I mean, if you got Dorian Finney-Smith here, who's he starting for? What's your starting lineup? If you're saying he could be a starter, what's your starting lineup?
Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Doris Finney-Smith, Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson.
So Finney-Smith will be a small forward.
I guess RJ would be my small. They could just switch it up. Whoever guard who, they could just switch it up. Both of them tall, lanky. They can switch it up.
So who's your you're saying Reddish will be a shooting guard?
Reddish would be my backup three.
So I mean, what's the starting lineup then? You said say you started
Brunson,
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 right?
um, RJ Barrett, Doris Vinny Smith. They could probably like swap. It doesn't matter. Obi Toppin, Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, so where's your shooting guard? Did you put a shooting guard in there?
Nah, it's just RJ Barrett and Vinny Smith. That's your wings.
So RJ is your shooting guard then.
Whoever it is.
If you
RJ.
finish
I
if
guess
Smith
RJ.
can't be the shooting guard.
Yeah, I guess RJ. He'll go back to the position he played when he was sophomore, rookie, or his rookie year. But it depends on the matchup.
And then you got Reddish coming off the bench.
Yeah, I'm just that's a Tibbs move. That's just a Tibbs thing. That's not a me thing.
I mean, listen, I'm with it. I can make it work however it goes, man. But I mean, does Finney Smith even shoot threes? Is he a shooter?
He
Yeah,
can
I
make
guess he
them.
does. He shoots a lot of threes. Yeah, he attempts 5 a game. He makes 2. He's at 39%. So he's a 3-point shooter.
He can knock him down. He can knock him down. I mean, he ain't the shit. He ain't the flashy toy. I think that's what it is. Like, well, I mean, that's a good pick. That's a solid pickup for 30.
Yeah, for him and Brunson, that's a decent.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with it, man. I'm just trying to get the thoughts, on together with this.
So your thought process is off your bench. See, this when it get muggy. This is when the stuff get muggy. Because I just named you the starting five, right?
Right.
Now, my bench unit would be Quick, Grimes, Reddish. The other two, I don't really give a damn, but Quick, Grimes, Reddish. Now, Tibbs, this is why I don't like Tibbs. Because if it was me, I'd be playing small ball once Mitch is off the floor. Unless the other team got more bigs. So I try to like throw in Jericho Sims in there. So you got to find me a backup 4 and a backup 5. A backup 5, I would want a guy who could shoot threes and protect the rim. Or you could just get me a goon. Somebody who just fight all day. Somebody who just...
Well, I think that'll be Finney Smith. Finney Smith will be that guy.
Yeah, he a goon, but I need another one. I need one more. My team is they too nice.
You didn't do nothing with Fournier. Fournier's still on the roster.
Oh my goodness.
So I mean, in the beginning, you were saying you would attach a future first round pick to get rid of some of these veterans. So you would do that?
Yeah, I definitely would. Because there's no way, like, you jammed up your wing position. Like, I'm not playing Evan Fournier and Alec Burks over Cam Reddish next season. I don't want to see Evan Fournier, Alec Burks play no more. It's kind of pointless to me. They not guarding. You see them young boys in playoffs? You see who Boston deploying? Who them guys guarding? You see them? You watching them play? Like, they would get schemed out of the game, and Tibbs will put them right back in the game at the 6 minute mark, like he always do.
Yeah, I get it, man. But you can get value out of what Fournier does. You know, it just has
You
to be done
can,
differently.
you
You
can.
know.
You gotta find the right sucker.
So if you're talking about a sucker, then how are we getting rid of Fournier? Because you're down, you're talking badly about Fournier, which might be warranted, whatever. But if you're thinking that way about Fournier, other people think about him the same way. Then
Now he a shooter though. However, other fans don't think of the Nick players the same way we do. I seen Portland fans be like, "Nah, go get Randall." Like I've seen it before.
yeah,
But at the same time, we do get the most disrespect though from other fan bases and even from Nick fans. Like I've
right.
seen Nick fans talk all day about trading some of our young boys. I'm like, yo, damn, like you're not trying to talk about how to get the team better. You just want to trade the young boys. So you want your star father to be Donovan Mitchell and Randall, huh?
All right, but listen. So also in this thing, like you're talking about dress keeping the number 11 pick, and then
Yeah.
drafting a wing, right?
Yep.
So where's that wing playing? If you got Grimes, if you got Reddish coming off the bench, Fournier still not dealt with, where does the young wing come from? Where does he play?
He could be DMP. It's winning time. Let somebody get hurt. You know somebody going. It's Tibbs, man. You know it's inevitable. Like they don't spit the glove, bro. he gonna get his time. I wouldn't even talk about young player playing at the moment. You know, I don't even. That doesn't because next season we trying to go to the playoffs. You gotta know we probably might have a record of most like draft picks in the rotation at the same time. Probably like 6 or 7 of those boys. We don't need to see all of. I wouldn't care if that guy is getting DMP personally for me. But if one of them young boys thinking it up, then I'm gonna start caring. But
I don't know. See, I mean, I can critique what you're saying, but for me, I can go so many different ways. I could just blow the damn thing up. I don't care. But me, I cannot sleep at night until Tom Thibodeau's off this fucking roster. Because I mean, like, just from people that was watching from the beginning when I was talking about Shaheen Holloway, that story to me resonates with me because it's like, yo, Shaheen Holloway, you're playing too good and you're busting my favorite player's ass. Go sit in the corner somewhere. I don't give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we cannot have a coach on a roster that's going to do that to our players. That's simple as that. Because I mean, this guy. Let's say Tom Thibodeau, he fell in love with this guy Quentin Grimes, right? And Quentin Grimes is playing good in this and the other. Now, what if we get number 11? Number 11, we're supposed to be around here. Tyton Williams is still there. Okay, maybe he might not be. Maybe if we get Dyson Daniels, or maybe one of these other guys, Benedict Maturin, or one of these guys fall down. Johnny Davis falls down, and we draft Johnny Davis. What if Johnny Davis is busting Quentin Grimes' ass? And he deserves to play or whatever. So what are we gonna do when we have a player, a coach that's not taking advantage of what guys are actually doing on the court? He's coaching from somewhere else. He's not coaching what he has.
yeah, can't BS me no more with the practice BS. That was mad BS. You can't tell me Alfred Payton was killing dudes in practice. You can't tell me that. So I don't want to hear practice about with these dudes. If he's playing good, play him. But obviously we can't see it because Tibbs really played Obi Toppin like 12 minutes a game and just tried to say that's development. That's stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And then Quentin Grimes got his shot. He got it. He got within the good graces of Tom Thibodeau. But then as soon as something happened, then he was back at, and then he had to wait till like another injury came in there in order to start utilizing Grimes again. So I mean, I just don't get it. Grimes gets hurt. Cam Reddish is here now, and he won't use Cam Reddish because he has. It's all a bunch of garbage. It's all a bunch of nonsense. On his part.
Nonsense.
So I don't know. Like if it could be up to me, if I could do three things, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't trade for nobody. I wouldn't do anything. I would just keep everything that we have and just let it run like that. And then like for me, I would just need another coach that's going to utilize his roster better. As simple as that. Because as long as Rose is on the roster, we're not going to get take advantage of anybody that we draft as a point guard. As long as Fournier and August Burks is here, we're not going to utilize any of these shooting guards. We got Deuce. Deuce could become something. We have guys on the roster like Grimes. Grimes could become that starter. We have so many guys on the roster that could become what we need, but it has to do with the coach putting these guys in the proper position to succeed.
Tibbs crazy, bro. Yeah. Watching coaches put all types of young boys on the floor in these playoffs, man.
Yeah,
Dudes, you don't even know the name of these dudes, bro. I'm like, Tibbs would never.
yeah. I mean, these guys, they all have talent. You can use these guys in so many different ways. Everybody. There's a place for everybody to play. There's a way to give everybody a play. Earlier today, I've been doing an off topic podcast with Lee Valentin and what's his name, Jarrell or whatever. We're doing talking about football and stuff. In
Mm,
football, you cannot hide your takes on football. Football, you can't just be like, oh yeah, all they just do is run on pick and rolls. Oh, we need a guy that could do this. No, the football is that everybody has a position, and their position that they have a job to do, or somebody's going to get killed out there.
that's a
You know,
fact.
you know what I'm saying? So you cannot hide your takes when you're talking about football. You have to know what you're talking about in order to get into that conversation. But basketball, you could bullshit your way, around a basketball conversation. So I don't know, man. There's so many different ways that we can utilize these guys. There's only five positions on the court. You know, um, you know, we can work out this roster in order to make things happen for us. I think.
Why does this guy average 27 and 10, bro, with 2 assists and 2 blocks, bro?
Who's that?
The type
Oh,
of godly numbers is that from Keegan Murray, bro?
yeah. I mean, those numbers are good, but I mean, in I think in the NCAA tournament, I don't think he showed that skill set
Mm,
from what I remember. I don't know if anybody could correct me on that, but I don't remember him, playing that well in Iowa, in the playoffs.
mm.
I could be wrong.
It depends. It depends. Now, listen, not. Wow, Portland. Portland is not keeping that pick. They definitely trading their lottery pick. If I was them, I would. Jabari Smith. I don't want that. I don't want Paulo. I see. I understand what you mean by when you say you can't rest until Tibbs is gone. Because I can only imagine Tibbs drafting a guy like Jaden Ivey and making him a corner hustler. Like that would be so stupid.
Right.
Like not trying to play fast. You trying to post up. Y'all watch it. My highlight of the season is when Tibbs posted up Alec Burks 5 times straight, bro. The Knicks was up double digits. What game is it? I'm gonna go back and watch it. I think it was within the last like 4 games. I couldn't believe my eyes, bro. I said, "Yo, he calling the same play again."
Yeah,
Oh,
but right before he did that, I think we was on a nice little run where IQ was running the show and we was running, and then he took all those guys out, and then five straight post up plays for Burke. It didn't make no sense. And I think before that we tried to post somebody else up that never posted up before. It's like, Tom Thibodeau don't know what the fuck he's doing, man. He doesn't know what he's doing, and I hate to keep talking about it because it kind of like kills the conversation, but you can't get past it. You can't get past what he's been doing.
nah, Tibbs is retarded. Nah, he's not retarded. Man. You doing some crazy stuff, man. He's a madman. Jabari Smith, Palau Bonchero. I don't want Tibbs using Palau Bonchero like he Julius Randle. I don't, but our offense so boring. It's not even exciting.
Well, I'm looking at the brackets, right? So I think the Iowa Hawkeyes that this guy plays for, this dude Murray that we're talking about, they
Yeah,
got
keep
beat
him.
by Richmond, 67-63, if I'm not mistaken. They got beat by the 12 seed Richmond team,
Oh,
67-63. So I mean,
I mean, the only thing that I could save him is he's not the point guard. So you
who's
know,
that?
I'm saying for the Iowa, he wasn't the point guard. Mainly in like college tournaments, I mean, your guards got to be experienced
Right.
for you to get far into the tournament.
Yeah, but he was averaging 26, so something must have been going on for the guy.
Yeah, 26. Oof, Jesus.
In that game that they lost, he had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. You know,
Oh, he went out with a bang. That
yeah,
could be the draft sleeper. He
yeah.
went out with a bang.
Do you think a guy like that would slip? 'Cause I mean, like I said, right now, after your tournament, a tournament like that, he probably will slip. A guy like Keegan Murray. He would have to show up in like the draft workouts and stuff like that.
This year's draft is all about who get the top picks. Um, if most of the teams with guards get top picks, most of the bigs will be gone. But if the teams with the guards get the top picks, then most of the guards will be gone, like Shaded Sharp, Benedict, McDermott. People's going to be swinging for the fences this draft. This is going to be the draft where you're going to see a name. You're going to be like, why did they take him 5? And then you're going to see the guy playing in December. And you're like, okay, I see why he took him 5.
Right.
This is going to be one of those drafts.
Well, another thing too, man. I'm looking at some of these guys' names here. Like, I don't really like AJ Griffin, and I watch AJ Griffin turn out to be the greatest player to ever play. But I mean, guys like Shannon Sharp, Benedict McTurnan, Johnny Davis, some of these guys. Is Quentin Grimes better than them?
I don't know. I didn't see enough Quentin Grimes for me to honestly say yes or no. That's the bad part.
But weren't people saying that Quentin Grimes was? Matter of fact, you were saying it that Quentin Grimes is like what's the dude from the Bucks?
Quentin Grimes. Oh, Michael Rad.
Yeah, you saying Michael Redd? Michael Redd was a big time scorer in his time, man.
Yeah, I was on
I see what you mean, though.
I was on my Nick Hollows. But Yoli, when he get hot, he can't miss. He does not miss.
He can't create his own shot though.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
he plays hard in this, that, and the other, but
he needs a point guard. That's for sure. He definitely needs a point guard. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys. He's not going to be able to get his own shot until like late in his career. No, not even late. So he probably like 24, 25. He'll probably get it down pat. He could do it a little bit though. It's not like he don't. He does do it a little bit.
Well, here's another guy, Terry Asen, about the same height and weight as this dude Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray 6'8", 225. This other dude Terry Asen is 6'8", 216, 25 points a game, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and all this. It's another guy.
Let's see, man. Let's see. You could run that sim though. You could run that on that lottery sim.
Run the sim again.
Yeah, man. Let's see how. Let's see.
Me hit it one time. Did the Knicks go down? They still right there at 11, man. Chances are we ain't moving, man. We ain't going up to the top. I hit it again. Nope. Oh man, chances are we gonna be right there. Ty Washington is waiting for us, bro.
Yo, that's so disappointing, yo. Remember them game winners by Alec Burks? Towards the end of the season. Yo, Tibbs was getting his late wins in March on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right, man. At least Obi and Quickly played well, right? It's can't be doom and gloomy every time. The kids play well towards the end of the season. I take that. I take that to the bank. But hopefully,
shout out to Tone, man. Tone was here taking a look. He said Fournier did his job though. Fournier did in the beginning. He didn't really play well because he's trying to fit in, but he ended up breaking the Knicks 3-point shooting record. He found a role where he's like the corner 3-point shooting king for us. So there was ways that he contributed, but like I said, just the leadership surrounding our players it's our problem. Like if he can get Fournier going in a spot like that, then we can get other things going too to get the team to win. Like I look at a team like Dallas. Like we smoked Dallas for 2 games this year. I'm looking at Dallas beat Utah, and Utah's another team that we challenged this year with our roster. So there was 2 teams in the West that I felt like that we could have beat them in a 7-game series, and that's Dallas and Utah. You know what I'm saying? And the Knicks are not that far behind those 2 teams.
That's a fact. I mean, one of those Dallas games, RJ definitely outplayed Luka Doncic. I definitely remember trolling on Twitter because of that. And he definitely locked Luka up that game too.
Yeah. And I think we've been locking up what's the name a lot too with my man Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Well, at least not he's not playing like his normal self.
I mean, what was his normal self? He was always Donovan Mitchell was a spectacular player.
Yeah.
But I mean, that playoffs, it kind of like scared me off from him a little bit. I mean, I'll still trade for him, but that playoffs, it worries me. It reminds me of what Phil Jackson said about him. And Phil basically said small guards. I mean, he basically called them a shooting guard that was 6'1". And
Yeah.
that's scary because I like guys who play both sides of the ball. So I don't know. Was he not trying because he just don't want to be there? I, we'll see.
I don't know. There's a lot of potential movement that we can make, man. But if anything, too, like I'm not really enthusiastic about any of these draft picks. So if there could be like something else that we could do, I would take that 11 pick and stick it up somebody's ass, and see if we could send that person out to get another player in here.
No, I wouldn't mind it neither because Tim. See, I don't feel like losing my mind anymore talking about young guys in minutes, bro. He gonna make yo, he's gonna make me. I'm gonna lose my hairline messing with Tibbs, bro. I'm telling you, I'm gonna lose my hairline messing with him. He's a
You know,
funny dude. I don't like that dude, man.
Well, I mean, so like I said, like we're like only one step behind where Dallas and things. I think we're better than Dallas, even with Luca. You know what I'm saying? But we're like a team that can compete with those guys. We're like one step away from being in the playoffs. Like the Atlanta Hawks, we're right behind them. The Boston Celtics. At one point in this year, the Boston Celtics was behind us in the freaking standings, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that, like we could like we're right there. So if you look at it from that standpoint, maybe the Knicks front office think that way too. So maybe they might be thinking that the same thing, trading this pick to see if they can get another player to add to what we're trying to do here.
Who's that said player though? See
I don't
that.
know.
See, and that's where the meaningless wins come into play. Because you, even if you wanted that said player, you can't get that said player with the 11th pick. Like
Well, I mean Brunson. How we getting Brunson?
that's the Randall swap right there. That's the Randall swap with you attach Evan Fournier with that some second rounders, get Jalen Brunson in the building, and Dory Finney Smith. But you're not giving up no first in that deal. I mean Randall and Jalen Brunson is like I
If
mean
anything, the Finney Smith is what makes it even. Brunson and Finney Smith for Julius Randle. And maybe if we throw, like you said, if we throw in like a future pick or maybe like a second rounder, more than likely, second rounder, that makes more sense, you know?
yeah.
But I mean, but if nobody likes Fournier, so you stick 11th pick up Fournier's ass and then trade him to, I don't know, trade him somewhere, trade him to the Lakers or trade him to, I don't even know. I don't know where you would trade him to. But
Uh,
if there's a possibility to get like another proven player, I think I would do that. I think I would do that because I trust Quentin Grimes enough to do their job. I trust Quentin Grimes to back up RJ at shooting guard. So if we can get that make a trade to get that next player in here to help us, I think that's what I would do if anything.
you gotta kill a log jam. It's all about killing the log jams. You can't just be trying to trade guys and then say, oh, like you can't go in the next season giving Reddish DMPs. I fully expect for him to play. You can't give him no DMPs. I don't want to see. I don't. You know, Alec Burks averaged the career high in minutes last season.
This shit is crazy. It's like that's insane. It's just insane.
If I'm lying, if I'm lying, I'm flying. He averaged the career high in minutes last season.
It's like a 32-year-old.
Yes, as a 32-year-old, I hate that guy, bro. I hate that guy, bro.
How was
Tibbs
that?
is so. Tibbs, is, I
He's
don't know.
30. Yeah, Alec Burks is 30. He'll be 31 at the start of next season.
It's-
But still, I
If
don't
he
know.
was nice, bro, I wouldn't. We wouldn't be having this fucking convo if they was nice. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. Yeah, but Alec Burks he could be used, but he needs to be a backup to somebody. That's what he's been his whole career. He's never been like a starter, a permanent starter in somebody's starting lineup. You know what I'm saying? He's always been like if he did start, it was somebody way better than him next to him somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He was a spot starter, if anything. You know, I mean, if Brooks is here, I wouldn't mind. But I mean, you know, you just have to utilize what's on your roster a little bit better. That's all it comes down to.
utilize the roster better. Yo, you make me hate Tibbs even more, right?
I,
Because
I hate
you so logical.
I hate the motherfucker, man. Because I mean, listen, you made your scenario or whatever, but I could rock with it. I could live with it. What I'm saying? Because I could find the positives in your thought process. But there's many different ways to do things, and I see that as a fan of basketball. There's so many different ways, and if somebody else can give me another opinion, I will listen to it, and I can say, okay, I can see where you're coming from, how we can get better that way. Because when it comes down to it, I don't care how we do it, as long as we do it. I don't care how we do it, as long as it gets done.
So that's where me and you differ. I care how we do it. I care how we do it because we did it every other way besides the way I want them to do it. So, I got to be a little selfish there, dog. I'm sorry. They did the trade for star crap. They did free agency. LeBron, I'm good. I want to build with the young boys. I want to build a
Yeah, but
young.
not for nothing, we did do that too. We built with the young guys at one point.
What we did? What we
We
did?
had Wilson Chandler, we had Gallo. Those are the guys we drafted at the time. You know, a bunch of young guys that we brought into the roster. That instead of keeping them in here and waiting a year and signing Melo in the offseason, we traded all of those guys for Melo, and we fucked ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Another situation is right before, the whole LeBron thing. We had we did have Jamal Crawford, and we had Zach Randolph here. Young, they were still young at that time. But on the same roster, we had Nate Robinson, we had David Lee. You know, excuse me, we had Channing Frye. We had a bunch of young guys on that roster, but we decided to chuck all those guys to the fire, to give us a shot to sign, LeBron and those guys, man. So we did have those guys, and we did utilize both situations to try to get that star player. You know what I'm saying? So now we're in a spot to do the same thing.
We'll see. Now looking at these chains, these Bulls would never do it. Like y'all, I want to know who your weed man is. We
You said
post that traded. They would never do that. It's not 2K with the override or you can't make a trade like that. Rose Burks for you, Kemba Noel for Westbrook, Wyndon Gabriel. Buy out Russell Westbrook. First of all, Mike K, I will never buy out Russell Westbrook. You're being very disrespectful. Um, you're being disrespectful. Like, why would no? We just got off of having Jakeem Noah's money. You want us to buy out somebody else? Your dog, man. Get your man. Get your man. Get
Yeah,
your man.
yeah,
Get your
Mike is my guy, man. I like Mike, but I mean, Mike is he likes to throw Westbrook in different trades and stuff. Like adding Westbrook to this team. Like if you want to talk about consolidating players, because look how many players you put in there. You put Rose in there, who is just holding up a space for us. Burks is somebody that we don't want. Nobody wants Fournier. Nobody wants Kemba. Nobody wants Nerlens Noel. So it's not like he added any players that we wanted in this mix. It's just about consolidating these guys to get them out of here. You bring
fact.
Westbrook here, and then buy him out. That is a scenario. We could do something like that because
Nah,
that opens up all the space for the young guys to play.
I can't. Nah, you being disrespectful. James Dolan would never buy out Russell Westbrook. That's on my grave. He would not do that.
All right, so let's say if we did a trade like this and we kept Russell Westbrook, then what?
I just want him around young boys. Put him with it.
That's what we have at that point
Yeah, that's just
because he done traded all of half of our veterans.
Taj gonna be the gatekeeper. Get Taj the clipboard. Yeah, let them young boys fight it out. Yeah, let them curse each other out. I believe in it. I like Russell Westbrook because I've been watching him since I'm in high school. So that's a different type of love I got. When you watch the player for 10 years plus and you watch them like grow and evolve, and I understand like he's on the downside of his career, like I respect greatness. So I would never disrespect Westbrook and ask him to take a buyout. That's OD disrespectful. That's not even logical to me. That's like asking that's like when Melo got his buyout, you know what they did we buy him out or we traded him? I think we just outright traded him, and then he got a buyout from another team and got all his bread.
And then they blackballed him from the league. So I think they'll probably do the same thing with Westbrook. If he came to the Knicks and the Knicks bought him out, I think he would get blackballed by the league.
Um, wow, that's interesting. That's a whole nother pod.
Yeah,
That's a that's a whole nother pod. Cause you know what I thought about as you said that? I thought about AI. I
yeah,
thought
it's the same
about
situation.
I thought about I thought about Charlie Ward. I thought about Charlie Ward. Remember his situation? He got was he kicked out of the league? It was Charlie or Rod Strickland. It was one of those two, or was it Rod Strickland? David Stern actually like kicked one of those. I'm gonna do my homework. David Stern definitely kicked one of those dudes out of the league. But it's man. Oh man, it's so many guys, bro. It's so many guys. It's so many guys, man.
Yeah, but not for nothing. If the Lakers wanted to do this, right, like just to get Westbrook's contract off the books, I think I would do that. And if we
Got in
decide to
my
keep
head.
Westbrook, if we decide to keep Westbrook just to have him on the roster for a year or so, for shits and giggles while we developing our young guys to come up, I think it would work.
Wait, hold on, hold on. It's a certain name that's not in that trade. Before we get out of here, I just noticed that. I never want to watch a starting five with 30 and Westbrook on my team. So where's 30 going? Because that's mad. Look, that woo, yo, imagine, yo, imagine, yo, imagine they come down the court, right? It's the first possession. Imagine Russ come down the court. He shoot a midi. He brick that shit. The other team come down the court. They score a layup on Randall. So then the very next play, Russ come down the court again, right? Tries to throw it to RJ. RJ turns the ball over. They score again. So then the very next play after that, Randall gets an ISO. So imagine Randall getting this ISO and he's sitting at the high post and Russ is standing at the three next to him. What are we doing with that?
I mean, you just described our current team. You just described our current team just now. It has nothing to do with Westbrook per se. That you just described our current team. That's what we do. That's why we've been losing.
If you turnover city, boy, woo, nah, man. But I respect Westbrook a hell of a lot. So I would kind of it depends. I would entertain that trade if you trying to really consolidate and you're trying to get rid of all those contracts at one time. Talking to the Lakers is the best way to do it. It's a realistic option though. I don't know if Leon Rose would do it, but I kind of think he would because let's say if you get Russ or you get John Wall, their contracts end that very off season, so you'll probably be getting like 50 million in contracts. So
yeah, you see it right. You see it right. Lord have mercy. People are funny. Man.
Oh man, I
this
think
this person has came on before.
Yeah, I think it's time. Yeah,
yeah, it's time to go.
What they doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh God, man.
Oh man.
Oh man. Yo. Oh my fucking God. Oh, God. Yo. Yo, nah, man. Let me get out of here, man. I can't. No outro.
Yeah, we just out. This week. Nothing else needs to be said. Should I put it on the screen? Like like that. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of those where you with your bids and he say something crazy, y'all all look at him. They're like, yo, man, we hot.
Yeah, cue the fucked up music. Put some fucked up music in the background.
Oh.
You know?
Oh man. No, look,
Put the sexy music on.
Oh God.
Next on the Diehard podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Last words is Adam Silva, Deputy Commissioner Montana. Hope you guys have a blessed night. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of you guys in the chat who tuned in tonight. Hopefully, we get all of this good energy coming our way. And May 20th, we're exactly 18 days away. We're about to be 17 days away. So Oh, we'll see. So, Don, I will holler at you. You have a blessed night. Yeah.
Yeah. Peace, y'all. Thanks for rocking with us. Thanks for dealing with the technical stuff and stuff that's going on with the podcast. Like I said, I gotta try to be more consistent. Whatever work with some of the other podcasts out there to try to get a more of a more consistent spot, so you guys can know when we come on rather than just be random. And sometimes we show up and sometimes we don't. Yeah, we gotta nip that shit in the butt, man. So thanks for keeping everything. Thanks for being here for us, and I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you guys as always, man. So, anyways, your boy E Room 4, fingers to the forehead, tuck a thumb salute. See you guys in the next one. Peace.